welcome back to GT Sport, and as promised in the last episode, today we're racing around the Nurburgring in the TT Cup, 13 miles of asphalt through the German Black Forest. And of course, fittingly for the TT Cup, we're racing in the brand new TTS Coupe. So here we go at the start of the race, and we're coming up to the first corner onto the start-finish straight, and away we go. So in this race, everybody is racing in the exact same car, the TTS. So it's all down to driver's skills. Coming into the first corner, we close up to the back of the first car, get round him through the inside. This is one of the most demanding tracks in the entire world, and a lot of manufacturers test their cars here. So coming up along the next one, again, round the outside, you can see we're much faster than the sort of original Model TT, but these are all at the back of the track, and we're going to be closing up to a lot of the same car as in the near future. As you can see, the track's really narrow, so we have to bide our time on some of these overtakes. We just have to try and pick a spot. So we see here, he moves out to blockers, brake checking us as well, but we get them, try and squeeze around him and there's just enough room to get past both the cars. Now heading onto one of the first straights on the track, and it's all going to be just about keeping up the speed and keeping up the momentum to give us a good flow through into the next twisty turny section. Again, you'll notice that at a lot of the places we close up to these cars is through the braking zone, because we're a lot more confident on the brakes than the AI in these races, and we just have to maximise those braking zones to get ahead of these cars. We're in 12th at the moment, we've got a long way to go yet. Here you can see we take to the grass actually to get around, but you can see I give the position back to him but accidentally brake check the guy behind us, but then we get him under brakes into this little kink here. And then we're just carrying so much more speed than the car in front of us, and then we try and get him under brakes. You can see ease off the brakes and then back on them again to just slip straight past up at the inside. We're up to 9th so far, and the leader is only 15.5 seconds ahead of us, so we've got plenty of time still. Coming up behind this next car, nice and easy, up the inside, take to the grass slightly, heavy braking zone. You can see we sort of bounce off that curve for a second, but it doesn't interrupt us too much. Carrying a bit too much speed there, so we're on the grass. Take up the inside of this guy, and it's all good. Moving on, we're on one of the next straights even, and we're going to be coming up towards the carousel eventually, but we're still a couple of minutes away from there. 7th at the moment. We're doing pretty well. 10 seconds to the leader. Again, the track narrows at this point, so when we get to these cars in front, it's going to be again about finding the right opportunity to go for the overtake. Another heavy braking zone. See, the car in front's run wide. It gives us the perfect opportunity. We just go straight up his inside there because he's lost all his speed from going on the grass. But then we've done the exact same thing, carry too much speed on the grass. You see, bouncing cone. But we're doing good at the moment. It's all good. We're in 6th at the moment, 6 seconds to go to the leader. See the car, he's just gone wide, giving us nice and easy overtake. So I've noticed this in this track in particular with GT Sport, that a lot of the AI of one rear ends another one. The AI isn't the most intelligent on these tracks, and they seem to go off. It's supposed to simulate real. And see this guy, he brakes way too hard for a corner that doesn't need to that much. You can go much faster through there. So now we're going to be a bit more wary of this guy, because we know he's a bit more twitchy on the brakes than we would expect. Heavy brakes as we close back up towards the back of him. Got on the bow power a bit too early there, but the traction controls helped us out. Coming up to around the halfway point of the circuit of this, and we're doing really well to be in 3rd, but you can see the leader's pulling away from this guy and us, but we get him up the inside, and now it's all about chasing down the leader at this point. Three seconds and closing, so hopefully by the time we get to the next section, we should be close enough to make a move. Heavy on the brakes here. Down to 2.5 seconds. So we're clearly much faster than this guy. It's just all about keeping going and just trying to get close to him. Another heavy braking zone as we head towards the famous carousel section of the Nurburgring. On the brakes. We totally cocked that up and drift way too wide off the carousel, losing us quite a bit of time to the leader, but hopefully we'll make it up because we've still got quite a lot of track to go. See, we're just concentrating really hard at this point, just really trying to maximise the track and try and carry as much speed as possible to try and close up to this guy. Because once we get to the main straight, we're probably going to lose touch with this guy because the cars are the same and we'll both have the same top speed. So we've only got one major sort of section to go before we get there, so it's critical we kind of get past him as soon as possible. Fortunately, he goes wide at this point, allowing us to carry a lot more speed and close up to him. So now we're less than a second behind this guy, so I'm just looking for any opportunity to get past him. See, he's getting a little bit tail happy at this point, so hopefully it'll be round here. So we're shaping to go up his inside into this next corner. I carry too much speed, go wide off the track, so allowing him to get straight past again. We're in the gravel trap, but we're back on his tail at this point. And again, it's all about just like closing him down, getting as close as possible, trying to shape and move up the inside into this next one. I can see it, we're just off the track slightly there. So this is some of the best racing I've actually had in GT Sport, as this guy was just doing everything possible to keep me behind him. See, he moves the blockers twice there, but we just go up his inside, and there we go, we're ahead now. Now it's all about just staying ahead, going into onto the back straight here. We've got one last carousel to hold him off at, and then we should be all good. On the brakes here. See, he's right behind me as well, so it's into the second carousel. Now maximise the power, and we should be far enough ahead at this point. We just got to make sure we stay out of, make sure we break the slipstream so he can't get that advantage over us, and we should be all good coming onto this back straight now. So in the last episode we were limited to 130 miles an hour in the Tesla, and if you want to go back and check that episode, that would be great. But this time the Audi with the engine, much faster. You can already see we've already beat the Tesla's top speed, 140 and climbing all along this back straight. See, we're a second ahead, out of the slipstream. We should be great at this point. At this point I just want to see how fast the TT can go. So we hit 160 and we're just like, will it do 165? Just 163. We just coming towards the last corner now. Heavy on the brakes into this last little chicane sort of section, and here's the last corner, and we win the first race of the TT Cup. So not the cleanest race we've had, but it was still a good win for our first time around the Nurburgring in this series. Join us next time after this great win. We're going to be back in the Stars and Stripes Cup, finishing off in the Tesla, seeing if we can win that championship. Till then, thanks for watching, and make sure you check out some of the previous episodes.